Hi, welcome to DIY with Gayle in the Ketchikan Public Library. I'm Gayle, and today we're going to make a tote. I have the pattern for 3 different sizes. This is the large, and it is quite large. This one in particular, I'm thinking about making a couple of them as Lego totes. Here's the medium. I will put the sizes for these in the video. I'll take a picture of each of them so that it's easier to see. For this project, you will need material. You'll need fleece and interfacing. We're going to put the interfacing on our inside lining, and we're going to put the fleece on our outer lining, okay? And now I've already done that in preparation for this, so let me clear my workspace a little bit. All right. So the interfacing makes the fabric stiffer so that it's nice and firm. It'll stand up and hold its shape, okay? One of these and one of these together, okay? And it's right sides together, so all you're going to see is just the white from the fleece and the interfacing. Okay. And we are going to sew along the long edge, okay? Is my seam allowance. Run it right off the edge. Do the same thing for the other one. Again, 1/4 inch. All right, now that's our beautiful top edge of our tote. Here's the other one. So then we unfold them and put them together like this. Now, we want to make sure that our seam allowances are together, nesting, so to speak, right up in there so that one seam allowance goes one way, one goes the other. And you can feel that, you can feel it, it's nice in there, nice and tight. Same to the other side. I'll just swing it around here. One side over one way, one side over the other. Use your finger to feel, and then you can just put it right in there, okay? All right. Now those are our sides, and this is our bottom. Now I want the cloth, or the printed side out. Okay, so I'm going to pin all of that. You'll notice with this project, as well as many of the other projects that I've shown you, the techniques are basically the same. We're going to leave an opening down here, okay? This time I'll try and remember. On one of the recent ones, I totally forgot and had to show you how to use a seam ripper. So this time we'll try not to forget. We do not want to do any stitching on these 4 cutout corners, okay? The 4 cutout corners, no stitching. Doesn't matter where you start. I'm going to start right here. Again, it's that 1/4 inch. Make sure your needle's up to start. And then with the fleece, sometimes the machine or the needle does not want to do it. Start in a little bit and then just back up and then go forward. And sometimes it just goes much nicer, especially if you're using a really thick fleece. Okay, we're coming up on that seam. I'm going to pull my pin, keep my finger there to make sure that that bottom seam is still going in the correct direction, and my top one is in the other direction. And we're just going to go right off the edge here. Okay. This is the one where I'm going to leave the hole. This is the bottom inside of my basket. And I'm going to pull everything out through that. Okay, I'm going to do a little backup to reinforce. And then I'm going to move it to the next area. Same thing here. I'm going to set it there, and then I'm going to stitch a little bit and then go back and forth to reinforce it. Going off the edge. Okay. Now we're on the side. To me, I'm not quite sure what it's saying yet, but I guess we'll find out. All right, here we go again. We're going to go over that seam, making sure our seam allowances are going in the right directions. I will tell you, when you're doing the big tote, the very large one, you will have to hold up this end over here a lot because it is so heavy it pulls. And if you want to keep straight lines, you'll need to do that. Okay, here we go again. This is that other bottom edge. This one we get to go all the way. Oops. Yeah, not polar fleece. The fleece here, you need to start it in a little bit because it just does not like it. All right, we're going to try that again. Let's try that again. We're just going straight off the edge. All right, wait a minute. It doesn't look like I have a needle thread. Do I have a needle thread? No needle thread. Give me just a second. I wonder where I lost that. Let's find out. Right back at the beginning. Yeah, see, I had some issues there. I need to readjust my sewing machine tension. What do I have it on? Let's go back a little bit further. All right, again, start a little bit forward, back, and take your time. It seems to need the extra oomph to get through it all. Okay, let's make sure I got all my areas. Yes. All right. So now's the fun part. Those squares that I said we're not going to do anything with at that point, now we're going to pull them. Check this out. Okay, let me show you again. So you have the square. You see that square? Go to the corner of the square. Make sure you get the fabric too and pull it this way. Make those two seams say hello. And then we're going to nest them together like we did the side seams. You will need to put a pin in there. It is very thick. And you will see it makes a cute little, you can see it fits together. We're going to start over here and end over here. Are we ready? And this is going to give us the bottom of our basket. Again, 1/4 inch. Now I'm going to start again a little bit in so I can do that backup thing and not have a mess. And you're just going to follow it across. Again, make sure that that seam is in the position that you want it. Laying down, facing the right way. And it's going to be thick. I did reinforce that. Okay, needle up. There we go. All right, then go to the other side, same thing. You're going to have 4 of these. Just make them come together. Looks like my fabric slipped here. Don't want that. Pin that one. Okay, and make sure you check in there and make sure that you can see your material and that it's right and up there, both pieces up there nice and, yep, that one's not. See, I have to go back here. Okay, so I have a little overlap there. I'm going to have to make allowance for. And so I'm going to go right here. There's my 1/4 inch right there. This is where I need to be sewing, so I'm going to start a little forward on my fabric and go backwards. It won't be as hard on the other side, the lining side, but this fleece is definitely some thick stuff. Okay, making sure that seam allowance is going the right way. Okay. Now all of these seams here, you'll need to do a little bit of trimming so you don't have all that bulk in there, and get rid of some of the threads, of course. And that gets this side of the basket done. And we'll go to the lining side, which has the stabilizer. So it's way easier to sew. All right, doing exactly the same thing. We're just turning it, putting those seams together, making them nestle up together. Nesting together is what they call it. And then to the sewing machine. This one you do not have to bother with the getting a head start. Check behind to make sure that seam is going the right way, and pull that pin. Okay, that's side one of that one, and last one. And just to make sure you got it all, let's come in here and show you real close again. So we're going to make those seams. We just put our fingers in, make those seams kiss. Turn one way, one the other way. Place a pin there just to keep it nestled. And there I grabbed a really crooked one. Obviously I hit that at one point. All right, making sure all of those little edges are together. Back to the sewing machine. And here we go. And I just love these little totes. They work out very quickly once you get the idea. Okay, so what happened is my seam slipped, and I've got my needle down, and I'm going to in there and pushing it back in. It took a jump out. Sometimes it hits the edge of the edge here and flips them down, and take the time to put them back. Okay, let's run it off the edge here. And then I'll show you what we made. All right, Now we left a hole in the lining bottom. Got a fly there. So go to the lining part, open it up, go in there and get these. And then start pulling it through. It's very thick on that one edge, or that one side, because of the fleece stuff. Just pull gently yet firmly, and it will all come out. Now on this one also, you will have to stitch your opening closed. You can hand stitch that or sew it on the machine. If you sew it on the machine, of course, it's going to show. And the stabilizer is a little bit, excuse me, hard to turn. Just work it. Okay. And then when you get it in there. All right, so this is the area you're going to need to sew by hand or by machine. I'm going to do it on the machine. Needle up, and there we go. And just stick it under there and just give a little, this is if you don't care if it shows, okay? I don't care. If somebody looks in my basket and my basket happens to be empty, they deserve to see the bottom of it. And just go right off the edge, okay? Nothing to it. It's not neat and tidy. You can do that with your sewing needle if you want to, hand sewing it. Then just push your bag inside. Look at that. You'll have to pull out your little corners. This is the first time I've made the little one. I've only made the big one so far. And the only reason I made them is I found that they're extremely useful in my sewing room. And I was helping my grandson rearrange his new bedroom. And Legos and cars and stuff are going to fit in these things. So awesome. All right. So as with some of the other projects we've done, you want to finger that into place. I'm going to move this and turn off the light. Just finger it into place. If you want to do a top stitch over it, you are more than welcome to. I'm not going to. The other really cool thing about this is you can extend the sides if you want. If not, don't. But I also like it because I just think it looks adorable turned down too. I got strings all over the place here. But look at that. There's my first small tote. Thank you for joining me and making it with me. It was fun. I enjoyed it. As I said, I have 3 different sizes. I will put the sizes in this video. I will just insert them with photo. Okay? All right. Have fun sewing, you guys. Take care. Mask on. See you soon at the library. All right. Starting with the large pattern. This one, if the finished basket measures 10.5 by 12, here's what you need to cut. You need to cut 2 pieces of 22 by 18 fabric, 2 pieces of 22 by 18 lining, and ignore this one. It's going to be 22 by 18 for your interfacing also. My original pattern called for it to be smaller. I did not like the way that turned out. I could grade it better myself, and it just made a mess. So ignore that. Cut it the exact same size. Then your corners, 2 of your corners are cut out, the 2 on one side. That is 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. Okay? Your medium is going to measure out at 15 by 12 inches, 2 fabric, 2 lining, 2 interfacing. And that basket ends up measuring 7 by 5 1/2. Same thing, you're going to cut those 2 corners, the 2 corners on the same size. Those will be cut out at 3 1/2 by 3 1/2 inches. Alrighty. And the last one being the small basket, which will end up being 5 by 5.5 inches. You will be measuring 11 by 9 inch fabric, cutting 2 of those, 2 lining and 2 interfacing. Your little cutout in the corners, remember those corners are only on one side and both appear on one side. That will measure at 2.5 by 2.5.